Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kat. I'm a reader, a writer, and a generally chaotic human being. And if you watched last week's video, I'm recording this right after it, so allergic reaction. But now I have tea in my beautiful asexual mug. It says, while you were busy experiencing sexual attraction, I studied the blade, which is hilarious. But I've got some tea that should actually help with the inflammation I'm currently feeling. I have two tea bags because this is a big mug. But this is the fourth in this series of videos. And now we're kind of getting to this part, to the projects that aren't as thoroughly developed yet. I still have a PowerPoint though. I made one in Canva. So Shadow and Blood Rain, which were videos 2 and 3. Shadow, I have book 1 drafted. It's currently in the editing stage at this moment. My plan and goal is to get it published in January. Hopefully I'll actually get to editing soon. But I started a new job, which I called into because allergic reaction and I can barely move. So there's that. What was I saying? So Shadow and Blood Rain are currently in the state of being written. I have not actually written anything in Gallows Matriarch yet. I mean, I have like a page I've written, but it is very much still in the creation, world building stage, the outlining stage as well. And then the next project video that you'll read, that you'll see, is also still very much in a creation state. I'm thinking Gallows Matriarch might end up, I'm going to write it as a book, but it might also end up as skits as well over on my TikTok, because TikToks are weird and kind of fun sometimes. But yeah, okay. So let's get to this presentation part of it. Remove my bat overlay. So, Gallows Matriarch. Some of you might recognize this adorable image here of a snake with a pomegranate. I created the quote-unquote covers for the current covers for this series. Cover creation is part of my world building. It's how I outline and stuff. It's part of my process. Even if it doesn't end up being the final cover. So you might recognize this adorable image. So what genre? Let's start with what the genre is. Like all my other projects, it's urban fantasy. I am an urban fantasy nut. Gallows Matriarch is it's going to be a series of 8 books. They are probably going to be more novella length. I say that now, and I'm working on 2 series that the books are going to be novella length. So, you know what? By the time I actually get to properly writing Gallows Matriarch, it might end up being like a thick boy. It might end up being thick. Thick with 2 C's. Who knows? Here are the fun covers that I made. I made these during a Coffee Bunny live stream, I believe. But this kind of actually shows a lot about what Gallows Matriarch is about, or what it covers. Here, let me remove myself from the screen for a second so you can see that one fully. So we have, this is book 1 through, it goes like this. So kind of the concept of these and how I'm looking at these covers, and the titles I've given them, is these covers, in my mind, even though I made them, are kind of what the main character created, and these are like her notebooks slash journals, maybe, or maybe it's the cover of her planner. But the main character kind of made these, and they get kind of sassier and like, what the fuck, the more the series goes. So with book 1, it's like, yeah, it's freshman year, fall semester. We're gonna learn about animalism. We're gonna learn about animalism and familiars. And then you get to book 2. And it's kind of like, freshman winter semester, plants have feelings. Book 3, wind blows. Book 4, blocked. Book 5, get out of my head, which I kind of say sometimes out loud when I'm thinking about writing ideas. I'm like, please get out of my head. I have too many ideas. That was very inner me. But also this kind of gives you an idea of what the main character is learning about in each of the books. So book 6 is Project This. Book 7 is Wake the Dead. And book 8 is the final book, the final semester. It's just question marks. And you can take a wild guess at that. I'm kind of going to explain it here in a minute, but take a moment before we move on while I drink this tea. A drink of this tea, I mean. Before I change the page, you can kind of build up in your mind and guess kind of what's going to happen throughout the series, also with the sass. And the title of this video, why can't I just art? So what is Gallows about? I just call it Gallows. Its full title will be the Gallows Matriarch series, in all honesty, but I just call it Gallows. Also, isn't this a fun background? So Gallows follows Theo Logan. Her full name is actually Theodora Logan. And Logan technically isn't even her last name. So I'm going to explain things as we go through some stuff. Again, I made her image on Artbreeder, and I actually used Photoshop, and you can't fully notice that. You don't fully see this. But I Photoshopped in her piercing, so she has an eyebrow piercing and a nose piercing, right? She has a septum piercing. But you can't really tell with this particular image of her. I'm working on making it a little bit better because it is so subtle. But this is actually really important to Theo's character and her visual appearance. I'll explain that in a moment. Theo has, and also this is why she specifically goes by Theo and not Theodora. Theo has heterochromia. One of her eyes is blue and the other is green. This is important. So when and where can you read this? I have no idea. I have a dream list, but that dream list it's a big dream. Gallows, chronologically speaking, Gallows Matriarch takes place in the same universe, not saying the same dimension. You'll understand that if you read Shadow, or even Blood Rain. It's mentioned in there too. Shadow, Blood Rain, Gallows Matriarch. They're set in the same universe. My goal is that you will not have to read the other series if you don't want to understand the world. And chronologically speaking, the series go Blood Rain, Shadow, Gallows Matriarch. So if I were to write this in order, I would actually publish Blood Rain first, but I'm actually working on book 1 of Shadow first. That's the thing. But I'm also working on book 1 of Blood Rain first at the same time. I'm a weird person. I can't work on one project at a time. Gallows Matriarch takes place either at the very end of Shadow, the series, / after Shadow has finished the series, The Fall of Slovenia. If you haven't watched my video on that, go check it out. So let's go to the world handle, and we can do a little bit more explaining. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so there's the snake, because the snake is like the icon for this series, and I just love it. It's adorable. So this one has a lot less stuff. Like, it still has the original introduction articles that World Anvil automatically populates when you create a world. That's how little I have built for this on figurative paper or on World Anvil yet. So there is still a lot I need to add on here. But let's go check out Theo's page. So why is her heterochromia so important? Oh, wait. What is Gallows about? I'm sorry. There's a reason this is called The Ramblings and not a well presented story. My brain one is already fuzzy. So Theo's title, which she learns her title at the very beginning of book 1, is Regina Philia, Theodora Persephone Logan Gallows, which she also goes by Little Flower, the Tripled Child, and Dora. Why is she called the Tripled Child? Theo has the ability to duplicate herself. This is actually really important, not just because this is a power she possesses, but nobody knows. People don't realize she can do it. It's not that nobody knows she can do it. People outside of her immediate, like super close, like parents and siblings, that's it, know that she can do this. So Gallows Matriarch specifically, that portion of it, is a title that is passed down through the Gallows family, essentially. Sorry about that. My phone. I don't edit these, I'm sorry. So the thing is, women are not born into the Gallows family unless they become the matriarch. So when it's time for a new matriarch to appear, a female is born. It's a curse, but it's also not a curse. Also, the matriarch generally cannot have children of her, biologically speaking, of her own. She cannot give birth to a child. Essentially, the matriarch is actually infertile, which, yes, I realize the irony here, but giving birth does not equate to being a mother. The very first matriarch, the first Mother Gallows, she couldn't have children, and she took in any children that were in need. If parents couldn't take care of their child, she took the child in and would feed them, house them, until the parents could essentially build up the ability to take back their child. They got to see the child, of course. Like, the first matriarch, did not take children. She would open her home to anyone. Like, if the parents wanted to stay with her, the parents would stay, and she'd call them her children too. It didn't matter if they were older than her. So there is always a matriarch, and this is really important. Also Theo's a witch. Yeah. So Theo finds out that she is the next in line to become the matriarch, and she's very confused about this initially because she's like, "Wait, what? How can that be? I'm an illegitimate child." And then she learns like legitimacy has nothing to do with becoming the matriarch. It's literally magic and magic decides. Magic and if you're a girl, essentially. Her great aunt Emma is the current matriarch, who is over 100 years old. She's actually like 130 at this point. The matriarch aging is slowed down extremely. But essentially, the series is going to follow Theo or Theodora as she learns to become the matriarch. The matriarch is not just in charge of the Gallows family, but is in charge of 7 other families. The reason that there are 7 powers, so there are 8 books, because each book represents a different family that Theo is going to have to go to and learn about their powers, because the matriarch has the ability to learn all of their powers in some degree. Very few master all of them before their training or during their training, but because Gallows matriarchs live 100 plus years sometimes, it's possible for them to master all 7 powers. Plus, the final book is essentially her being truly tutored and her tutelage under Aunt Emma, the current matriarch. This one. My articles. So Aunt Emma is the matriarch. She was born in 1881. The series starts in 2016. Aunt Emma is very old. And she never had children. So the next matriarch is actually born from her brother's bloodline, essentially. But Emma, even though she is 130 something, 140, it's right here. She appears to be 55. Aunt Emma looks 55 when in reality she's a 140-year-old woman. She was 31 when she became the matriarch. So some matriarchs become into power when they're really young. So Theo is currently 18. She just graduated high school and she's entering college. So basically in the time of getting a basic college degree, which is generally 4 years, Theo basically is trained to become the matriarch. That's not what happened with Emma. Emma became the matriarch 2 decades later than what Theo is going to become. Like I said, I'm still developing this world and the story fully, but it follows Theo as she learns and trains to become the matriarch and truly accept herself and realize like this is her future and that it's okay. Theo is an artist. She actually owns and sells art in the series. Persephone Logan's Designs. That's her art name is Persephone Logan. So yeah, this one's kind of like jumpy, I guess, because I'm still very much developing the world. Let me see. So each family has like each of the 7 families, minus the Gallows family, has a land or special power. So that's why each book is like animalism, and they're all connected. So where Gallows Matriarch kind of originated was a couple of ideas that I had, and I'm still probably going to write those separately, but it kind of grew from there. I hope this made sense to you. It probably did not, because like I said, Gallows Matriarch is very much still in development. Most of it's in my brain and has not been put to World Anvil, and my brain is currently scrambled. So, thank you for hanging out with me. Could I get a thumbs up if you liked this, or even if you didn't? I'd appreciate it. Do you want more content from me? You can hit subscribe. The next video in the series is probably going to be the last for a while. Well, no, I have 2 more, I think, in this series. So I'll probably update the series later once I've done way more world building and stuff. Maybe actually publish some books. So I'm still going to do Ghost Not Found Here, which is a skit series. So actually it's going to be more like this screen and not a PowerPoint really. And then if you guys are interested, I might do one. I'm thinking of doing a video on my fanfics and talking about all the wild fanfic ideas that I have and the fanfics I've been writing for years that I need to work on. But I don't. Unless my brain works on it. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Have a good day. Bye.